Hello everyone, X-Wall-Kill Bethelite here. And we're going to build on our last video and talk about Jehovah's Witnesses and fake love, right? The Jehovah's Witness ability to just be phony. And this is something that is deeply entrenched within the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses. And that is one of the main reasons why it's so easy for them to shun, to disfellowship, right? Because the love was never real to begin with. See, there's a term that we oftentimes use, those of us that know a lot about Jehovah's Witnesses will use the term love bombing. Well, what is love bombing? Right? That's the introduction to Jehovah's Witnesses and their fake love, them being phony. Them trying to get a person to join their cult by showing an outpouring of what to the individual looks like love, looks like friendship, looks like, wow, all I did was walk in this kingdom hall and now I have all these friends. All these people care about me. All these people showing an outpouring of love, and it's amazing. And they feel like they want to be a part of that. Well, what they have to understand, what we all need to come to grips with, is love bombing is fake love. This is what Jehovah's Witnesses do. It's just the introduction to it. For Jehovah's Witnesses, many of them, if not all, connect Watchtower to God. They equivocate Watchtower Corporation to God. They don't really know the difference. There's no real difference. They even call it God's organization, like God is literally in an office somewhere in New York running it. This is going on in the minds of Jehovah's Witnesses. And that's why it's so easy for that cult to get Jehovah's Witnesses to erode family relationships, to neglect family relationships to the point where your relationship with your quote unquote family, we talked about in our last video that these are just relatives amongst Jehovah's Witnesses. Jehovah's Witnesses oftentimes don't really have families. They have relatives. But your relationship to your quote unquote family, quote unquote friends, over time, what that cult does is make those relationships dependent on your attendance to the Kingdom Hall. They make those friend and quote unquote family relationships based on your activity once you come to the Kingdom Hall. Did you comment? We understand that they're having Zoom meetings now, but that has never really changed. Your relationship to that quote unquote friend or family member is oftentimes based on your relationship with Watchtower. That is fake love. That's phony. And we can use an example, or we could illustrate it like this, how Jehovah's Witnesses would oftentimes say. A person who wins the lottery, or a person who gets their first NFL contract, they get drafted to the NFL. Or just think of somebody in your mind who has a lot of money. Oftentimes, friends, their friendships that they have are based around that money. All these people that they have around them aren't their real friends. And that goes for family too, because sometimes people that come into money, what they would have called relatives, or we could say family members, that hadn't spoken to them in forever. I'm talking fathers and mothers that have not spoken to this person or been in this person's life. When this person becomes rich and famous, that person pops up, right? They pop up out of the blue. That's phony. That's fake. Now, they may try to build a relationship after the fact if they decide to do so, but initially, that's phony. That's fake. That person is only around you because you have money. What happens when that person loses that money? Well, then they find out who their real friends are, their real family was. Those are the people that are still around when you don't have what you had before. Those are the people that are still around when things get tough. That same principle applies to Jehovah's Witnesses. Just like that rich person, some of those friends are fake. They're only there because of the money. When the money's gone, they're gone because it was always fake. The love was phony. Also, too, with Jehovah's Witnesses, a lot of that love is dependent. It's phony. It's fake. But it's dependent upon what your relationship is within that cult. So the shunning policy is where Watchtower pulls the plug on the fake love, right? All of a sudden, reality sets in. Let's go back to the time when they were going to the Kingdom Hall. When they would announce that person's name on the stage and say such and such is disfellowship, that's Watchtower pulling the plug on all that fake love, because they've been love bombing, all that stuff. All that stuff was fake and phony from the start. Watchtower is just showing you the reality now, the truth, we could say. Right? Reality sets in, and then this person really sees these people done all turn their back on me in a second. They were never your real friends. They were never your real family. I was born and raised a Jehovah's Witness just like many of you were. And we all know that those real bonds of love, they're not easily broken. I have seen people get disfellowship and their family, the family that was really family, they refused to stop talking to the person. Matter of fact, I know one person who they didn't just refuse to stop talking to them. They made it a point that they were going to refuse to not talk to this person who they loved and cared about and was loyal to. And at assemblies, Back when they met together in groups at assemblies where you have the whole circuit there, the whole district of Jehovah's Witnesses there, when this disfellowship family member got up to walk around, go to the bathroom, go get something to drink, their relative walked with them in front of the whole district to display, I'm not turning my back on my family. Because they're family. That would be the case across the board if these people had real love for that person as a family member. So if the love is real, they're not going to stop talking to you. Many of us are fortunate enough to have those types of family members or friends where some people stop talking to you. Some people stop associating with you. But the family where it was real, that love was real, that relationship was solid, they don't stop talking to them. You'll talk to somebody that used to be a Jehovah's Witness and they'll say, hey, my family member still talks to me. Why? That love was real. That's not easily broken because Watchtower said so, or because, you decided you didn't want to go to their particular religious service. You didn't want to be a Jehovah's Witness. That with real love, that's not going to just break the bond. Because you can't just go up to somebody and tell them to stop talking to a person that they truly love and care about. Let's use another example. Boyfriend-girlfriend relationships, or even husband and wife relationships. It does not matter oftentimes what you think is good for a certain individual. If you tell them to leave their boyfriend, it does not matter if this man is a serial killer. If they are emotionally tied up with this person, what does so many families and so many friends go through where they're trying to get a person to break up with their boyfriend because he done cheated on them, he done did this to him, he done treated them this way and that way. And when this person is emotionally tied up with that person, and some of this goes into infatuation and a lot of other things, but when that emotion is real, it's hard. They may eventually do it, but it's hard to get this person to move on from somebody that they really care about. The same can go for a guy that's dating a girl. This girl might only be with him because of his money or because of the things he has or because of the position he has on a sports team. And it ain't gonna matter if this guy loves and cares for her. It's not gonna matter how many of his friends tell him, man, that girl, you got to watch her when you got your back turned because she don't really care about you. It doesn't matter. If it is hard to break real emotional bonds, whether it be love as an emotion, whether it be infatuation as an emotion, whatever that emotion is, if it's a strong emotion, it's hard to break it. And some of you guys experience firsthand, you don't think a person is good for another person in a romantic relationship, and you can't break that. You can't get them to stop seeing that person. That person can do all kinds of things to the individual that loves and cares for them or has strong emotional attachments. They could leave them and go with some other girl or guy. And then whenever they get around to it, pop right back up into their life, and then the person lets them right back in. Why? Because strong emotion is hard to break. Strong attachment is hard to break. And so for your friends and family members there should be a similar strong emotional attachment where it is darn near impossible to break it. Right? It should be very difficult to break it. But for Jehovah's Witnesses, they devote so much of their time and energy and emotion into Watchtower. This is how it's designed by Watchtower and the governing body, that these people will devote so much of their time, their energy, their emotion into meetings, field service, studying, watching these videos that they have on their website, trying to keep up with every book and publication and magazine and live stream, and whatever time you have left, you better be using it to quote unquote serve Jehovah, which is really code word for Watchtower. Serve Watchtower. Do what we tell you to do. Pioneering. Trying to acquire some other title, whether it be ministerial servant, elder, circuit overseer. What Watchtower does is get people to focus so much on Watchtower and devote themselves so much to Watchtower that those family bonds, those family relationships, friend relationships slowly erode over time. To the point where that love, all that smiling and happy to see you and things like that, that's fake. That's phony. That's fake love. One of the problems is that fake love is such a big part of Jehovah's Witness culture that for that Jehovah's Witness who's in that, they oftentimes don't recognize it as fake, because that's what the whole relationship was built off of. That's all they ever had with that other Jehovah's Witness, the quote unquote loving brotherhood. Those of you who have watched my videos for a long time, you know I was at Bethel. You know that love was fake. The quote unquote Bethel family, quote unquote Bethel family, that was fake. Because once Watchtower decided, hey, we're going to sell buildings in Brooklyn, we're going to start selling all these properties, and we got to just get rid of all these Bethelites, all that phony, fake love, that disappeared in a second. And next thing I knew, I found myself in my car trying to figure out where I was going to go, because the organization that I was planning on spending my life serving, because I thought the love was real, that love was fake. That love was phony. They did not care what happened to me. The moment Watchtower says we don't need his labor anymore at Bethel, nobody at Bethel from that point could care less, right? It was a brother coming to my room with brothers from the moving department, getting my stuff, putting it in boxes, putting it in my car, and saying, drop your keys off at the main lobby. Bye. It wasn't a brother coming to my room with, come on now, we understand Bethelites are poor. with some other brothers with some cupcakes. You know what I mean? With some cheap juice. There wasn't a brother coming to my room with other brothers from my department that I had worked side by side with. It wasn't brothers coming to my room with people from my congregation that I devoted so much time and energy driving 45 minutes out to go see because I thought the love was real. It wasn't a brother coming to my room with people who cared and giving a little, we're going to have a little going away gathering. No, there wasn't no going away gathering. Why? They didn't really care. The love was fake. The love was phony. I found out how fake and phony that love was when I got back from Bethel and I tried to start finding a job. And my job required me to work 7 days a week. Interstate warehouse, I remember. They switched from a regular schedule to, man, we just lost this contract. Now what we got left, we need y'all to work 7 days a week. At the time, I was trying to find another job so I can go to my meetings, but I noticed that when the Jehovah's Witnesses, you know, the loving brotherhood, when they saw that, man, we haven't seen Marcus around at the meetings as much, they just automatically start shunning you. That shunning, it's an automatic process because the whole relationship you have with all these people, it was only ever built around how frequently they see you at the hall, how frequently they see you comment. Anyway, it was only built around the title you had when you were at the hall. Anyway. So my experience with Bethel not only showed me that Jehovah's Witnesses are not any better than anyone else. They lie and say that Bethel and everyone is just so perfect and so amazing. It wasn't just that. It wasn't just that I saw people doing all kinds of things at Bethel that Watchtower does not teach people go on there. It was that the love was so fake that it was blatant. It was blatantly obvious that these people, not just at Bethel, but at the Kingdom Halls, none of them even cared about me. They didn't even know why I hadn't been to the meeting. They didn't all know that they're making me work 7 days a week now because they didn't bother to ask. Hey, how are you doing? No, it's just automatic shunning. They didn't even announce nothing on the stage. They didn't have to announce anything on the stage because the relationship was only ever built off what Jehovah's Witnesses value, and that's how often you come to the Kingdom Hall and how active you are. So let's go back to what we stated in the last video, that Jehovah's Witnesses don't really have family structures. The people that you lost, quote unquote lost, through shunning and being disfellowshipped, that was never your true friend. That was never your true family. Because even the people within the Jehovah's Witnesses that really are friends and really are your family, they don't stop talking to you. They're supposed to, but if you reach out to them, they're going to answer the phone. Why? Because they care. They're not supposed to based on Watchtower policy, but they will still talk to you because of the love and how hard that is to break. That's something that even Jehovah's Witnesses should know, because they talk about love a lot at the hall and how strong and powerful this bond should be. And they talk about, oh, there's going to be this great tribulation and we're all going to stick together, right? And principle of Jehovah's Witnesses mentally knows love is supposed to be something so strong that you die for that person. right? Because Jehovah's Witnesses teach they'll die for each other during the Great Tribulation. Principle, Jehovah's Witnesses know love's supposed to be so strong it can't get broken. But in reality, those family bonds and friendship bonds erode in Watchtower. They're spending their time, focus, and energy on Watchtower and not on building those relationships and maintaining those relationships with real friends and family. Because a person is your marriage mate. A person is your husband and your wife. That title, husband, wife, that's legal in tradition. They're only your real husband or wife if you build and work on that relationship and cultivate that relationship. The title is just given by law. Your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, cousin, uncle, all of those titles are given through tradition. Every child your mother has is automatically, through tradition, through the title, through law and whatnot, your brother or sister. But they are not, and as far as love is concerned, they don't love you like a brother or sister unless that relationship is cultivated, worked on, built over time, and not allowed to erode over time. Right? A person can be close to a family member and then something happens. They get married and the family don't like the husband or the family don't like the wife. And what happens? That husband or that wife that the family don't like, they try to keep that person away from the family. Why? So that they'll be loyal to them and not their family. Because over time, they're expecting the love to cool off, right? So that they don't have to worry about their family and their friends pulling them away from them. It's the same with Watchtower. Watchtower doesn't want people to pull their membership away from the cult. So Watchtower tries to, over time, erode, keep them away from people by keeping them busy with Watchtower reading material, with meetings, with field service, with assemblies, right? With all these broadcasts, they keep the person busy to keep them away so that, yeah, they still have the title, brother, sister, mother, father, what have you. But do they still love you as a brother, sister, mother, father, and so on and so forth? Oftentimes, no, because over time it erodes. That's something that needs to be built and cultivated. Just like a married couple that over time they quit building and cultivating that love and whatnot. They still care about each other, but that marriage ain't as strong. Right? They stop building and cultivating. That's what Watchtower gets Jehovah's Witnesses to do over time. Stop building and cultivating relationships with true friends and family and start building fake love, phony relationships with people based off how often they come to the Kingdom Hall. So by the time it gets to the point where this person will really turn their back on you because you don't want to go to they particular religion. You don't want to be in their religion no more. Or because you were part of their religion and it was the worst thing that ever happened to you in your life, and you decide to share your experiences that happened to you, and they decide, well, we don't love you no more because you said something about Watchtower. Why? Because they love Watchtower more. right? They've been building their and cultivating all their love and compassion towards this watchtower organization that they think is Jehovah, and neglecting relationships with everyone. So the people you lost, they were never your friends. They were never your real family. Those were just titles, empty titles. Comment down below. For some of us, we may need to discuss this further. 937-789-4029. That's a phone number you can text. This is deep. Something we may need to talk about further. That's the number to do it. 937-789-4029. You never really lost real family, real friends anyway. That was phony. Phony friends, phony family. Comment down below. X Wallkill Bethelite signing out.